I think they're just juniors that they'll get everything ready or I don't know.
Boy, they spaced it out.
That's why, yeah. Hang on. She's way back. She's way back.
Zip your lobe off! Go ahead, Heidi.
If I seem a little nervous tonight, just bear with me because I've never done this before. So we'll just try and make it through alive, okay? You know, I stand before you tonight with, a lot of mixed emotions. I can't decide whether I'm going to play volleyball or go swimming at Gradfling tonight. I'm having a real tough time with it. No. But these last 4 years at this school have been just fabulous. The teachers here have helped me out a lot. And this year, being senior class president, it's been just a great experience. And I've learned what it's like to take charge and, and be in the lead of everything. And I just can't thank the staff of this school enough for making this such an enjoyable 4 years for me and all of us. And yeah, just like a round of applause for the staff. Thank you, man. You know, I've known most of these people in this class my whole life, and I've, you know, been around them forever, and I couldn't think of a class I'd rather graduate with. They're just the greatest bunch of people, and I'm going to miss them all so much when we leave here. But, you know, I know they're all going to do great, and I wish you all the best in whatever you guys try and do, okay? So, right now, we have a musical selection by the staff. And I'd like to introduce the leader of them, Mr. Bill Cashmere.
Don't know much about his story, don't know much biology, don't know much about science books, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. Don't know much about geometry, don't know much trigonometry, don't know much about algebra, don't know what a slide rule is for, but I do know 1 and 1 is 2, and if this one could be with you, what a wonderful world this would be. Now, I don't claim to be an A student, but I'm trying to be. Maybe by being an A student, baby, I could win your love for me. Don't know much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about science books, don't know much about French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this could be. History, biology, science books, what the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Have any of you ever read the fine print on the back of antiperspirant? It makes me wonder if there are actually people out there who don't know where exactly to apply their antiperspirant. Tennis players and weightlifters who will roll it across their foreheads to keep the sweat out of their eyes. Now, you may be asking, what does this have to do with graduation? But when you think about it, for the last 18 years, we have been given directions. People have been telling us what to do and how to do it. When we were in preschool and kindergarten, we were told how to talk. In grade school, we were told to keep our elbows off the table and our napkins in our laps. And in junior high, I'm sure most of us recognize the familiar command, "You're not wearing that to school." Then with high school came an entirely new battery of instructions to fulfill. Familiar commands from parents were, take out the garbage, clean your room, be home before midnight. Now, not only were we controlled by our parents, but we were also under the command of our ever-present teachers. And I'm not kidding when I say ever-present. They were in our dreams and our nightmares. I can remember many a time waking up in a cold sweat only to find that I had turned in my English paper on time. Many of us were even fortunate enough to spend anywhere from 11 to 48 hours at a time with some of our teachers on overnight trips and late practices. Now, as each one of us continue our paths down each one of our very personalized yellow brick roads, we find more unfamiliar instructions and directions. But are they really so unfamiliar? We will need to use what communication skills we have acquired to convey that we are the best person for the job. At important business lunches, we will need to use our best table manners. And many companies do have very strict dress codes. Some of us are even going to have to learn to love polyester. Pretty scary, huh? Sorry to break this to you, but your office job probably won't allow you to wear those neon zebra striped spandex shorts with a hot pink workout shirt and high tops. The things our parents demanded we do were really only a foreshadowing of life. In school, our teachers taught us about deadlines, and administrators taught us about being on time. But lunch only costs $1.25, and we were always given a second chance. We have received instructions for many years, but one thing to look forward to is that someday Eagle Point High School's class of 1990 will be the ones giving the directions. Some of us may be parents, and some of us may even be teachers. Either way, instructions, directions, and commands from our parents and teachers were really only our owner's manual for life.
Thank you, Charlie. And next we have a group of senior choir members. They're going to be singing a song entitled My Wish for You.
Present to you the people who have made the highest grade point averages this year. We have co-valedictorians Jennifer Hanscom and Chris Alexander. Jennifer is a daughter of Edward and Susan Hanscom and plans to go to the University of Washington to study mechanical engineering and wants to get into the aerospace industry. Chris is the son of Larry and Betty Alexander, and he plans to go to the University of Southern California and study accounting, specifically in business taxation. Would you both please come forward?
To begin our beginning, before we begin, we just want to say that the wind starts up like last year, and there's like a windstorm. We're going to cut it short, so there might be like a lapse in our speech, because we wrote a speech for all of you. Rhododendron. Now that must have been Travis Cox out there. Rhododendrons and roses are comparable, but neither have the unique personality of ducks.
Such as those great celebrities Daffy, Donald, and Howard. Just as their contributions have brought them fame, so has our great intelligence.
Yes, we are the valedictorians for the class of 1990.
For this, we'd like to express oodles of gratitude to our parents for conceiving us 18 years ago.
Just as the world should thank them also. Our parents have encouraged us, motivated us. Right now, I have the sincere obligation to the most favorite parents in the whole wide world, Edward and Susan Hanscom. Will you please rise? Now, they're not divorced. They're supposed to be sitting together. Okay. Of course, I do have sisters, so I'm indebted to you, Carrie and Deborah, for leading the examples and setting the way for my wonderful path. And my best friend, Molly Blazer. Praise thou you, Molly. You rose there.
I would like to recognize my sister Tammy and brother Mike. We also cannot forget our history study group, for without them, we would not have had the ability to maintain the grace and composure that was needed for the class.
To our teachers, we all owe gratitude, for without them, all of us would not be here. Specifically, I'd like to begin by thanking Mrs. Cooper and Mrs. Branson for my younger years, Mrs. Seasock for my middle years as a junior high, and in high school, Mr. Foster, who spent a lot of time doing nothing.
Mr. Bretherton.
Mrs. Ricketts, who taught us more not only to eat our cake, but also to throw it.
Mr. Pinder.
Mr. Kerrigan, whose advice in math didn't always add up.
Mr. Mann.
There's Madame Chute, who helped me improve Madame French.
Mr. Curtis.
Mr. Britton, whose weight training advice lifted me to personal best.
Mr. Simpson.
Mr. Kashmerek, who subjected us all to many liberal spiels on wheels.
And Mrs. McClure.
There was Mr. Tarrant, whose punning obviously affected many of us severely. I'd also like to thank my coaches, Cataldo, Milne, Swanson, Donnelly, and Mrs. Smith. Without their harassment and leadership, I wouldn't be here today. They taught me more than just volleyball, basketball, and track.
To these teachers, we address, "O Captain, my Captain." This unique quote is from Dead Poets Society. It expresses the admiration and respect we have for them.
I can honestly say that I never sought solace from any outside religion. I never had a cosmic entity. My success was a result of support from my personal family and friends, my own dedication and direction.
On a separate note,
Not on the piano.
Gina Ricketts once said, "We are in a race between education and catastrophe."
Many don't realize that our wisdom and knowledge came from the 12 years of hellish education we've had. I'd like to think that I've helped others, including those teachers who had to deal with us.
Mikhail Gorbachev expressed in 3 lines one problem that this district is headed for. "In complete darkness, we are all the same. It is only our knowledge and wisdom that separate us. Don't let your eyes deceive you."
The problems we are facing is forcing the students toward mediocrity. We have eliminated many advanced classes and therefore taken away some of the only challenges that we will face.
Already we can see how this has hurt the class of 1990. Few students have felt motivated to enter those remaining advanced classes, giving administrators the reason to cut those classes, leaving the motivated, goal-oriented students out in the cold.
Gorbachev's quote embodied this problem. People ignored the fact that kids are supposed to get better educations as they go along. Mediocrity right now is accepted in America, and that's wrong. We need to be taught to work harder, to strive for something.
Individually, we need to set goals to save America and to solve for environmental, political, and social problems. We are the leaders of tomorrow, trained or not. We are what this nation is depending on for leadership.
Of course, although we were told not to address this topic this evening, we could not ignore those ballot issues. Those of you who didn't vote or voted no on this tax base, I hope in the coming years you are plagued with cashiers who give incorrect change, TV announcers with poor grammar, and elected officials with IQs less than room temperature.
And the board of directors, it's truly my pleasure with my first senior class, who's amazing, to tell you that these students have met the graduation requirements of both the state of Oregon and Eagle Point High School. They will now, as soon as we're prepared, be ready to receive their diplomas. Just half a second.
Mrs. Donnelly, fellow members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, parents and families of these fine youngsters, these are your graduates of 1990. Jennifer Hanscom. Rick DeVos. Elizabeth Whitlock. Christopher Alexander. Shelley Warren. Aaron Meeker. Lana Welch. Garrett Harris. Lisa Christensen. Melody McKinney. Stephanie Rodriguez. Robert Nelson. Clark Nielsen. Michael Yeoman. Joshua Cox. Kevin Cavanaugh. Rhonda Sullivan. Colin Royce. Robin Jones. Wiley Myers. John McKee. Matthew Hernandez. Cindy Lyles.
Walk down there and walk the touch line.
Christine DuBois. Ross Keaton. Renee Poitevin. Jason Garcia. Julie O'Brien. Michael Henry. Holly, your father will give you your diploma. Holly Boyd. Robbie Cowden. Lisa Inlow. Torsten Langstead. Angela Sweat. Adam Williams. Karen Budikoff. Tom Illingworth. Marty Anderson. Jason Fowler. Casey Schultz. Don Marsh. Katrina Bernhardt. Shannon Fitzgerald. Angela Bell. Joe Bloomberg. Amy Ruhlman. Vicki Lawyer. Lila Wolgast. Derek Herzberg. Barbara Conaway. Sean DuBois. Andy Johnson Timmons. Joe Scheffler. Sarah Deskin. Todd Digby. Jeanette Handgard. Robbie Smith. Becky Day. Oliver Pitts. Tony Sutton. Karen Eskew. Tina Wilborn. Christy Lloyd. Brian Owsley. Tonya Hogan. Shatner. Valerie Malnar. Congratulations, Valerie. Juan Barquin. Leanne Furtado. Rod Hansen. Jadine Curtis. Patrick Arthur. Terry Walsh. David Petty. Anna Banuelos. Mike Greb. Shannon Elder. Sean Polk. Jamie Hansen. Travis Tuft. Jeannie Bowman. Philip Allen. Suzanne Meadows. Mike Merle. Byron Mills. Tina Edwards. Kelly Hertager.
Oh, this is so calm.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the class of 1990.
Ross Keaton would like to say on behalf of the class of 1990, and before that I would like to just thank so very much the family, friends, and the teachers of the 1990 graduates. You've all made this possible for this young people, and now it's up to them to go out and be our future. And now Ross Keaton.
Well, at least we made it, huh? Now if you all turn your tassels to the right side of your hat, wave goodbye to your school. I guess it's off to Gradfling. But before we go, remember, be excellent to each other. But now, it's time to limbo, Jimbo.
Oh, they're all gonna limbo through that. Look at that.